And this is a sad one here. A horrific scene playing out. This is at an amusement park in Florida. Talk about an innocent scene. 10-year-old celebrating his friend's birthday. He's going to ride a zip line. But the innocent scene takes a turn when the boy falls about 20 feet to the concrete below. We'll tell you, the boy did survive, and we have the video of the accident. We're warning you, it's pretty tough to watch, and it's frozen before he actually hits the concrete. Again, he takes off. Everything looks okay, but he's not strapped in properly. He hits the end of this here, and he falls to that concrete. This is a 10-year-old. He had to be airlifted to the hospital, suffered several broken bones, collapsed lung, and brain injuries. Mom says they're suing the zip line company, saying that her son is trying to go back to school, but quoting here, every day is a struggle for normalcy. Let's bring in personal injury attorney John Phillips, joins us via Skype from Jacksonville. This is a sad one when you take a look at the case here. The family suing for in excess of $15,000. Here's what an inspector found, John, that the equipment's okay, no history of trouble, but the video shows the harness is not strapped in. And from what we gather, 3 employees were involved here. They were dealing with a lot of kids. Somebody goofed, it sounds like. Operator error was the call. Does that equal a win for the family right there?
I think it does. You know, there's always 2 things you look at, whether the equipment as designed malfunctioned and whether the people who are responsible for the equipment failed. And it seems like they just forgot to buckle this poor child in. So off he went and fell 20 feet to fairly severe injuries. The question is, what are the damages, not whether they'd be found at fault.
Gotcha. And that, clarify for us, people think $15,000, that does not sound like a lot. Clarify for us what the reward could end up being here.
Right. When you file a complaint in circuit court in Florida, you've got to plead that it's in excess of $15,000. So all that number is a jurisdictional number. But based upon the brain injury of a 10-year-old child and the severity of the injuries, this is a case I'd expect they'd demand 6 or 7 figures depending upon just the relative injury, how severe it really is.
Yeah. Here's the statement from the company's Urban Air Trampoline and Adventure Park in Lakeland, Florida. Their statement says, as a family-owned and operated company, safety is at the heart of everything we do. We take matters of this nature very seriously and can assure that appropriate measures have been taken. With that said, though, somebody didn't do the job. I mean, you know, you can't do anything after the fact. With that said, though, how do they fight this? What's their stance in a court of law?
Exactly. So they're going to literally do damage control and try to show that the kid did go back to school and is living a fairly normal life, and just try to keep the economics down as much as they can. And the thing is about these zip lines is they're not very well regulated. The Department of Affairs and the Department of Agriculture that regulate them in the state of Florida really only come in when called to come in. We've had a similar case where they used literal pool noodles to try to stop people from colliding into a tree. It's just because they hold it out as safe doesn't mean it's safe.
Isn't that, and again, I don't want to make you a safety expert, but from your expertise real quick, just word to the wise, you go down to a place like Florida, I mean, that's tourist land. People are looking for things to do. You got to do your homework, don't you? The best you can.
We absolutely. 20 years of being a personal injury attorney probably makes me as much of a safety expert as anybody. Yeah. But you do got to do your homework. I have a 7, 5, and 2-year-old, and because of what I see every day, I do make sure that the checks are made, and that the people are really doing what they're supposed to doing, because a lot of times these places are staffed by teenagers and young 20-year-olds, and they get distracted too. And so you've just got to make sure that you're helping them do their job, sadly. Yeah. Be your own best advocate. John, good to see you as always. Thanks so much. Well, an elderly woman